Olá, pessoal. Aqui é Teacher Ivan. Eu estou responsável pela aula do nível A2B hoje. Nós vamos, na verdade, do nível Pre-A2B. E nós vamos revisar os assuntos do A2A. O que vamos revisar hoje? Vamos revisar Wh Questions, como fazer perguntas, Yes or No Questions, e nosso enfoque hoje será perguntas e respostas utilizando o Present Simple. Ok, nós temos aqui Ask and Answer. Se tem as respostas. Today, hoje, Tom. The red one, a vermelha, Mary's. At home, a car. By bike, because it's hot. Qual seria o WH question que poderíamos relacionar a essas respostas? Por exemplo, today, when? Tom, who? The red one, which? Mary's, whose? At home, where? A car, what? By bike, how? Because it's hot, why? So, quando, quem, qual, de quem, onde, o que, como e por quê. Right? Então vamos pensar aqui em possíveis perguntas e respostas. Example, when is your test? Today. Who is that boy? Tom. Which do you prefer? The red one. For example, I have this pen, the red pen, and I have here the blue pen. And I say, which one do you prefer? You say, oh, the red one. So you want the red one. Okay, which one do you want? So, whose? So I've got, for example, a pencil. Whose pencil is this? Oh, it's Mary's. Então eu digo, é de Maria, pertence a ela, pertence a Mary. Okay? Where? Where do you study? At home. Onde você estuda? Eu estudo em casa. Okay? Where do you do your homework? At home. It's another possibility. So I have a question. What's that? A car. It's not a bus. That's a car. Another question. How do you go to school? Como você vai para a escola? Eu vou de bicicleta. I go by bike. How? Como? And here, why? For example, why can't I use it? Oh, because it's hot. Então, não use isso porque está quente. Você pode se queimar, okay? So, just an example of because it's hot, okay? Next one, you've got this. Agora, gente, nós vamos dar para vocês as possíveis perguntas e vocês podem imaginar as respostas. Example, when do you? Who is your? Which do you? Whose bag is that? Where do you? What's your? How do you? And why do you? As perguntas que aqui estão estão no Simple Present Tense. E a pergunta 1 é quando? Quando você, for example, when do you usually go to bed? I usually go to bed at 10 o'clock. Então, quando você geralmente vai para a cama? Geralmente eu vou para a cama às 10 horas. I usually go to bed at 10. Okay. Next. Who is your? Who is your best friend? Quem é o seu melhor amigo? Who is your best friend? My best friend is, so we say the name of your best friend. Which do you prefer? You would say cake or pudding. Which do you prefer? Oh, I prefer cake. So, whose bag is that? Se você aponta para uma das bolsas que tem na sua sala e pergunta de quem é aquela bolsa. Alguém ia dizer, essa bolsa é de dizer o nome da pessoa. Então, for example, whose bag is that? Say, oh, it's Ivan's. Aquela é a bolsa de Ivan, um exemplo. Next one, where do you live? I live in Recife. So, pergunta, onde você mora? Eu moro em Recife. Next one, what's your favorite color? Oh, my favorite color is blue or green. I like green, as you can see here in the presentation. Or, what's your favorite dessert? Então, qual é a sua sobremesa favorita? Favorita. My favorite dessert is chocolate. Or, how do you? If I ask you, como você vai para a escola? How do you go to school? I go to school by car. Or, how do you go to school? I go to school by bus. Here, why do you study English? Or, because it's important. Because it's an important language. Okay? Because it's necessary to study English. Next, we've got this. Complete the questions with a question word. So we have these. Do you get up at 7:10? What is the WH? Quando? How do you say quando in English? When? Next one, you have, do you have for breakfast? Tea and toast. So, I would ask you what? O que? O que você come no café da manhã? Alright, so the question here is, what do you have for breakfast? Tea and toast. Parece café da manhã bem inglês, não é? Que seria chá com torradas. Eu acho que a gente só toma chá com torradas no café da manhã se a gente estiver doente. Okay, we have other things here like tapioca, couscous, and milk and juice. This is what we have for breakfast in Brazil. Next one. Do you go to school? On foot. So, como você vai para a escola? E a pessoa usou aqui on foot. Significa a pé. Então, como, in English? How. How do you go to school? On foot. Next. Book is this? It's Mary's. Então, a quem pertence esse livro? A Mary. So, the answer is, whose book is this? It's Mary's. Okay? And finally, you've got the question, is your favorite actor? So, quem? Então, vamos perguntar aqui, who is your favorite actor? So, guys, we've got here other ways and other questions. Now, you complete with which, how often, where, why, and how many. Complete the questions with a question word and find the answers. So, do you want to go home? Do you live? Do you watch TV? And you write with, brothers have you got? Question 1. Why do you want to go home? Question 2. Where do you live? Question 3. How often do you watch TV? Question number 4. Which hand do you write with? Question 5. How many brothers have you got? So you've got here this. Por que você quer ir para casa? Próximo. Onde você mora? Com que frequência você assiste TV? Com que mão você escreve? It means your left hand or your right hand, okay? Right or left hand. And how many brothers have you got? Veja que na pergunta ele só usou a palavra brothers, que é irmãos, é masculino, quantos irmãos você tem, mas em inglês, se você quiser perguntar em geral, quantos irmãos e irmãs você tem, seria assim em inglês. How many brothers and sisters have you got? Answers? Every day with my left hand because it's late in Oxford. only one. Então, você vai fazer agora you're going to match the questions and the answers. For example, why do you want to go home? Por que você quer ir para casa? Because it's late. Porque está tarde. Where do you live? In Oxford. How often do you watch TV? Every day. Which hand do you write with? With my left hand. How many brothers have you got? Only one. Lembrando que aqui só se refere a irmãos do sexo masculino. Brothers. Okay, we have here ask and answer questions. You can work with a friend. You can ask someone in class, like Mike and Annie. So the question is, where does Mike live? Mike lives in London. Where does Annie live? She lives in Australia. How many brothers and sisters does Michael have? He has a brother. Oh, sorry, he has two sisters. He doesn't have a brother. How many brothers and sisters does Annie have? She has a brother. How does Mike go to school? He goes to school by bus. How does Annie go to school? She goes to school by motorcycle. What time does Mike get up? He gets up at 6:30. What time does Annie get up? She gets up at 7:15. What does Mike have for lunch? He has hamburgers and chips. What does Annie have for lunch? She has sometimes salad or some cheese and ham sandwich and orange juice. Okay, now you are going to work with someone in class. You have student A to look at the chat and answer the questions. And you have student B to look at this other chart and answer the question. For example, if you are student A, you are going to ask if you are student B, you are going to look at the chart and answer the questions. And student A, you are going to ask the student B, you're going to ask the questions. After, in the end of this, you are going to answer, what have you got in common? For example, student A, which musical instrument do you play? Student A answers, I play the piano. I don't play the drums. What subject do you like? Student A answers, I like history. I don't like geography. Which sports do you do? The other says, I play table tennis. The other says, I don't play football. And the last question, what do you do after school? After school, I play video games. I don't watch movies. I don't watch DVDs. Okay? Now, student B is going to answer the questions. Look at the chart and answer the questions. Student A asks, which musical instrument do you play? Student B answers, I play the guitar. What subject do you like? He says, I like geography. I don't like history. Which sport do you do? Well, I play soccer. I don't play table tennis. Next one. What do you do after school? After school, I watch TV. I don't play video games. Now, guys, what have you got in common? Have a look at here. I guess you have something in common. Do you? Hmm, guys, have you got anything in common? Unfortunately, no. You don't have anything in common. Okay? So, because you like all different things. But there is something in common. It's like, um, let's say, after school, you do that. Okay, you play. No, sorry, you don't have anything in common. Ok, very nice. No doubts. Aqui nossa ideia é de tirar todas as dúvidas. Usamos WH Questions para buscar informações mais específicas e detalhadas sobre algo ou alguém. Usamos what, when, where, who, how, which, why and whose. Lendo novamente: what, when, where, who, how, why, which and whose. Podemos também fazer perguntas mais diretas que demandam respostas curtas, como yes or no. Essas perguntas são chamadas yes or no questions. Observe que uma yes or no question inicia com o verbo auxiliar. Exemplo: do you live in London? No, I don't. Does she work here? Yes, she does. WH questions para informações específicas. Veja o exemplo. Do you live in London? No, I don't. Where do you live? I live in Oxford. Ok? Então, temos aqui o que chamamos de WH questions e temos aqui o que nós chamamos de yes or no questions. Ok. Ask the following yes or no questions and make a WH question to get specific information. For example, do you come to school by car? Se a pessoa responder yes, I do, uma possível WH question seria how long does it take you? E se você pergunta do you come to school by car? E a resposta é no, I don't. Você poderia perguntar how do you come to school? Ok? Então, vamos ver aqui. Is your mother English? No, she isn't. Então, a minha pergunta is, what's her nationality? You answer, she's Brazilian. Are you from Japan? No, I'm not. Qual seria o WH question? Where are you from? I'm from Brazil. Next one. Do you work? No, I don't. Você, como aluno, diria não. Ok? Então, a resposta para você seria no, I don't. Porque vocês não trabalham. Mas a pergunta seria what do you do? O que vocês fazem? You say, I'm a student. Mas se você perguntasse ao teacher, teacher, do you work? Said, yes, I do. Where do you work? I work at Colégio Militar do Recife. Next one. Do you live in a house? Say, no, no, I don't. So the question is, where do you live? I live in a flat. Next one. Do you study Spanish? Say, no, I don't. I don't study Spanish. So which language do you study? Oh, I study English. Next one. Do you like onions? Say, no, I don't like onions. And then say, oh, what do you like eating? I like eating all the vegetables, but not onions. Next question. Are you 20 years old? Say, no, I'm not. So the question is, how old are you? Say, I am 50 years old. Is your father military? Answer, oh, yes, he is. So I ask, where does he work? Say, oh, he works in the Brazilian army. Next one. Can you swim well? Said, oh, yes, I can. So I can ask you the question. When did you learn? I learned a long time ago. Do you like watching TV? Said, oh, yes, I love it. So which TV series are you watching at the moment? So we can ask questions and we can have some specific information. Here you've got, look at the chart and make yes or no questions. So you and your internet friend, imagine that they are your answers. Like, do you speak French? Do you speak French? You say, oh yes, I do. Do you speak Spanish? Oh no, I don't. Does your friend speak um, Japanese? Oh no, he doesn't. Does he speak Italian? Oh yes, he does. Okay, so you are going to use this form of questions. You can first think and write and then answer. Like housework. Do you do the cleaning? Or sorry, do you do the washing? Say, no, I don't. Do you do the cleaning? Say, oh, yes, I do. Or do you vacuum your house? Oh, yes, I do. Do you do the ironing? Oh, sorry, your best friend, your internet friend. Does your friend do the ironing? Oh, yes, he does. Does he do the cleaning? No, he doesn't. Next question. Do you read the newspaper? No, I don't. Do you read comics? Oh, yes, I do. Next one. Do you read books? Oh, yes, I do. No, I don't. Do you read the Bible? Oh, yes, I do. Some examples. Next one. Do you go to parties? Yes, I do. Do you go to the beach? To the deep sea? No, I don't. Or maybe do you go to Halloween parties? I'm sorry. Do you go to Halloween parties? Oh, no, I don't. And now here is your internet friend. Okay. Do you go to the cinema? Oh, no, I don't. Do you go skiing? Oh, yes, I do. So possible yes or no questions in each case. Okay. Now they say this. Read the text quickly and answer the questions. What is Tess' job? Does she like her job? What time does she start work? Where does she live? But then I also would like you to think about how you could complete the questions here in the text, because you have one, do you work? Two, do you do on a typical day? Three, do you like the job? Four, do you finish work? Five, do you relax? Attention that to get the answer, you will need to read here the answer for the question. Like, I start work at 5, so what time do you start work? And here you've got, I work in South London. Do you work? I drive a lorry to about 800 houses every day, from Monday to Friday. Okay? So, do you do on a typical day? Do you like the job? Because. So you have a because here. So what is the question? I finish at 1:30 or 1:30. I'm a mom, so the hours are great. I get home at 2, I have a shower, and then I go to my children's school to collect them. Do you finish work? so I finish at 1:30. And finally, I play football with a women's football team. Do you relax when you are not at work? So it means how, maybe como você relaxa. Okay? Right. So question one. I work in South London. So where? Where do you work? Two. I drive the lorry to about 800 houses every day from Monday to Friday. Question. What do you do on a typical day? 3. Because the people are friendly and I work outside. Question. Why do you like the job? 4. I finish at 1:30 p.m. 4. When do you finish work? Or what time do you finish work? 5. How? How do you relax when you are not at work? I play football. She says this. Okay? So you're going to answer also the question, what is Tess' job? We find the answer over here. Tess is a refuse collector. So things that people do not need anymore, so she's going to collect that. Does she like her job? She's saying yes, she's going to say that she likes her job. And where can you find the answer? Okay, it say, why do you like the job? And the answer is here, because people are friendly, and I work outside. Sometimes it's very cold early in the morning, but when the weather is nice, I love it. So does she like her job? Yes, she does. It's a yes or no question here. What time does she start work? So you see here, she starts work at 5. Where does she live? Where does she live? Okay, let's find this answer here. We go to this. I get home at about 2. Okay, and we've got to find where she lives. We know that she goes, tests my feels dirty work and gets very early. She loves her job. Okay, where is she from? Where does she live? Um, okay, it must be London. Yeah, I believe, because she works in the same place. So she lives in London, here in this very same place where she works. Okay, I work in South London, so she must live in the same area. Okay, good. Next one, you have a listening comprehension over here. And they say, order the words to make questions. Say the questions with the correct pronunciation of the question words. Listen and check. So you have how many do children? So we start with the WH. How many? How many what? Children. Do you have? 2. What day time breakfast do? 3. Do does husband your what? 4. He when does work? And 5. At weekends, you what do? So listen and put this in order.
1. How many children do you have? 2. What time do they have breakfast? 3. What does your husband do? 4. When does he work? 5. What do you do at the weekend?
Okay, so you see here what we've got. Some questions about Tess' family. She's talking about her family, and here you can see her husband and her children. Okay, and this is the family working, and some questions about her, okay, and about her family. So listen again.
4.11. 1,
How many children do you have?
2,
What time do they have breakfast?
3,
What does your husband do?
4,
When does he work?
5,
What do you do at the weekend?
Okay, so you can write the questions now and see. Okay, very nice, guy. So it was our lesson for today. It is the A2B lesson in working with WH questions. Okay, hope you all have a very good day. So bye bye.